Welcome to the Wednesday Team Prosperity Meeting. This is a weekly meeting for our partners that goes into information as well as other material that will help you build your business. Our goal is to give you things that you can immediately take out of this meeting and start to immediately implement and immediately start getting some results from that. So like we said, today is June 16th, summertime, tough time to do business. People are checking out physically and mentally. We understand why, especially coming out of the year of lockdowns, people are eager and there's some pent-up demand to do stuff. Like we've talked about over the last several weeks, power through this time, because whatever you do now can have immediate impacts on your business. But as everybody's coming back to the fall and restarting, you have a nice springboard that will take you through year end and the beginning of 2022. Next 24, 36 months is going to be extremely powerful for this business cycle. Last week, you guys, we talked about in our team meeting, explaining what we do for clients in a way that actually makes sense, that gets some general interest, leading both sides of your business through education, adopting the same mentality as a bank, learning how money rules work for or against you, the ultimate power of choice, and what's $1,000 really worth. This week, we're just going to go through some information that's either come up this week that I've been directly asked about, or some overall information that will hopefully help you guys with your business. First thing is, even if you've got a brand new partner and they're not involved in any part of the training or anything that's going on with the new partner they brought in, that's the advantage of our model. We get a lot of help in terms of training, tool, support, coaching, mentorship. But even if your partner's brand new, you want to encourage them to reach out to their new partners. In terms of what needs to be said, not that much. Just making sure you're keeping in contact until you take over managerial roles. There's not a whole lot that we need from you, but just make that connection to your partners, check in, see how things are going, see if they have any questions. Don't leave them on a desert island all by themselves. Also, the better that we get and the better that our partners get at reading situations, the easier the business is going to be for people. So either that's direct or indirect language, but we need to learn how to read situations to understand what people are either telling us or indirectly telling us about, their wants, needs, desires, and things that are going to either lead us to the next action steps or close down that conversation. Remember, you guys, at the heart of it all, whether I'm talking to a new partner, whether I'm talking to a potential new client, I am essentially selling hope and opportunity. I'm reconstructing the American dream, either on the client side, teaching people how money works, or I'm helping to reconstruct the American dream on the partner side with a viable business model, with a product that's in demand, that has legs for the next many, many, many years to come as we unwind this period of time. That means that money, whether people choose to ignore it or choose to concentrate on it, it's important to everyone all the time, especially now. That never changes. So when you look at your business and look at what you're doing, there is demand for the conversation, there's demand for the education, there's demand for the product and services. You just have to place yourself correctly to get your pipelines built. We are in a bull market in terms of smart technology. We're in a bull market in terms of personal financial literacy, wellness, whatever you want to call it. We're in a bull market for entrepreneurship. We're in a bull market for online businesses. So what we're doing has a great amount of potential if you and your partners can grasp the opportunity and then put together a plan of action and execute. Also, we're in a bull market, a generational bull market as well. And the generations obviously have different views of the world depending on when they grew up, and they've got different problems they're facing. But one bull market that's definitely here is the millennial generation. And they're coming of age. The oldest millennial, I think, is around 40 years of age now. So they have income, they have houses, they have children. We need to know who we're talking to, because talking to a boomer versus talking to a millennial, little different conversation in terms of where they are in the life cycle and what they're trying to accomplish. Learn how to talk to somebody for who they are. Another thing that came up this week, and we have to expect it, embrace it, and excel beyond it, is failure. You're never going to do something new without failing. The failures are the stepping stones to mastery, to success. But if you're going to get upset with failure and you're going to let it get you knocked down and take an emotional toll on you, this business is going to be almost impossible to build. So you have to understand that failure is going to happen. We learn from our mistakes and we go and we keep moving forward. Also, something else that came up this week, that when you look at your business model, this is what you're responsible for. Inside your branch office, your home office that's going to spin off digital agencies, you're responsible, and each and every manager of that office, the individual office, is responsible for 30% of the office growth. That means that every month I'm working on 3 direct partners and 3 direct client sales that I can bring into my branch office to help spur on the branch growth that's needed to secure things like bonus pools and make everybody happy, but also to build that portfolio of digital agencies that's going to do the exact same thing. If you go consecutive months without your contribution of 30% to your branch office, it's going to it's going to cost you. And so you want to concentrate on what you can control, and one of the main things you can control is your direct activity. Also, something else that came up, you guys have to know how you get paid and how you read a commission statement when you make sales, when your partners make sales, if you're making overrides. If your new partner comes to you and says, hey, I got paid, but I don't understand what I made or how I made it, and you say, hey, welcome to the club, me either, well, guess what? That's not going to give them a lot of confidence in either coming back to you for additional questions or really moving forward and doing more activity. So you need to understand how you get paid, how your partners get paid, and how to increase the level of revenue and income that comes into you from the different streams. Accountability. We got 2 sides of the people that don't do it. Either it's an alien concept or they're too cool to participate. I'm telling you, if you understand your business in terms of the data, the numbers, very easy to build it. We're going to try to make these accountability trackers even more slimmed down, more easy to use, but really understand that there's 2 parts to this. Number 1, it helps your business grow. And number 2, it sets the example for the people coming in to your organization and your office to follow either your lead or your lack of a lead. Real quick, guys, as you have partners coming in, understand there are things they can immediately start to implement in terms of, email services, in terms of creating a Gmail signature so people can learn more about them, Sniply, recycling articles with links, Facebook tools, linked helper automation, Google alerts to learn more about whatever it is that you want to learn about, Lightshot screen capture tool, tracking your email, it's really important, Google Docs, and Bitly. This is all stuff that a brand new agent can immediately start to implement into their business, and it gets them an immediate edge in terms of some automation and a little bit of marketing outreach without having to come out of the pocket for money. Okay, so let's talk about the power of possibility. We talk about the power of possibility and the fear of missing out as 2 big emotional factors. The power of possibility, when you're talking to people, there are 2 main important factors. Number 1, first, that other side needs to be aware of the possibilities. They need to be aware and recognize there are possibilities. And the second main factor is they need to organize and live their life with possibilities and potential. So once again, we are educating, steering people in a certain direction. Power of possibility is a main emotional attachment to the endpoint. So we need to be aware of possibilities, and we need to live our life with possibilities and potential. The other, fear of missing out, I got asked this week, what's the best way to use fear of missing out in marketing and language? Well, there's some techniques that you guys can use. Set a time limit. Technique 2 is quote somebody who has authority, influence. That always helps. Technique 3, add lots of testimonials. So as your business builds and you are helping partners build their business, clients, get to their financial endpoint that they want to, the more people that you have talking about, your products, your services, what you've done for them, it helps out because that rapport, trust, credibility from other people's testimonials really lead people into a kind of mindset of, I need to check this out. Technique number 4, create a special offer with a deadline. Sometimes we put, discounts on deadlines and things like that. Advertise a bundle of products and services. So with the education, we bundle up free gifts. This is all trying to make sure people understand that the next action step, which we make it a very easy one on the front line, is not something they should fear in any way. Use clever messaging, scatter your content, design limited edition lead magnets. We got a bunch of funnels coming your way. And then I think one of the most important ones is solicit user-generated content. Other people, yes, testimonials are great, but when other people are talking about you, your products, your services, your company, your mission, what you're doing, nothing better online than user-generated content about you. So we also want to take a look. A lot of us are diving into the sales side of this, our marketing starting to come to fruition. So when we look at sales, what do we do to make more sales? Well, there's a couple of things that we need to concentrate on. And one of the first things is understanding the buyer's journey, because if we understand the buyer's journey, we understand the steps, and then we can take them through that journey or that roadmap to get them to what we want, a decision point. So the discovery, consideration, decision, it starts with focusing on problems. You're not going to offer a solution to somebody if they don't realize they have a problem. So focus on problems, then focus on solutions, then the value and need, solutions and features, and the evaluation. The most important part of this buyer's journey is this front part, because when you look at the customer's problems or perceived potential problems they're having, you can't just gloss over it. Because if people are making the mistakes, if their understanding about what they should be doing is 100% false, then they need to understand, and you guys need to stay on the problem long enough to where that's been presented, digested, and recognized by the other side. Once you have the problem firmly planted in the conversation, then you can start talking about the solution. And remember, we talk about solutions, not the product or service. So how are we going to overcome the problem with the solution? And the solution gets us to X, Y, and Z, whatever it is that we're trying to do. Also, in your language, guys, make sure you understand that certain words have certain meanings, and you can take price to value, place to access, and promotion to information. So sometimes even small words can have negative connotations. You want to make sure that your language and verbiage is appropriate on the meetings to do what you're trying to do, which is, steer these people to the next action steps. All right, top 14 power words for sales success. These are words that really we need to learn how to use in our language. Words like you, goals, opportunity, we, easy, success, amazing, believe, win, benefit, help, new, exclusive, thank you. So when you're talking to people and they've usually got questions, these are some power words. So people want to know, who's going to help me, things like that. So when you understand that these are the top 14 power words for sales success, digest these, understand these, and use these in your marketing, sales presentations. They definitely help. It all comes down to, no matter who I'm talking to, potential partner or potential client, what is it that they want? Because our products and our services are just a means to get to that end. So what do they want? They don't know what they want. It's not your job to help them understand and decide what they want. They should already have goals, dreams, wants, needs, desires, whatever it is. And then our job is to make sure they understand you have a choice. We talk about, hey, doing nothing's a choice, doing it on your own is a choice, using our program, our products or services is a choice. And these choices are going to affect your plans in terms of what you want. And then after that, once we understand what we want and it's our choice, well, what's your plan? Okay, we want to get to an end destination. We've evaluated and we've talked about what the end goal is. What is your plan to get there? And that's important. Most people do not have a plan. That's where you come in, because we're offering strategies, tactics, a game plan to get there, but we need on the front end what the end destination is. And we need to understand coming into this if there's a plan in place, because if not, our game plan is going to lead them to that end destination. Whether it's a partner or a client, this is so important. People love procrastinating. People love waiting around. People love just to imagine what should happen. Hey, I'm thinking about retiring at 62. Well, I'm 54 now, let's say the client is, and they've got nothing saved up. Well, that's an idea, that's a wish, but just thinking something's going to happen without having the plan of action to go out there and make it happen, people just drift. And that's why you see so many people end up at certain points in the life cycle way behind the curve, because they've just waited. They haven't taken action. So we need our partners and we need our potential clients to go out there and stop being reactive, start being proactive. Because if you leave your future up to choice, whether a potential partner or a potential client, bad things usually happen, right, guys? Just if you're gonna, whatever happens, happens, that's not a real plan of action that's gonna get you to where you wanna go. And then finally, we have to start teaching people what you're doing. If it's not working, you need to stop doing it. So for example, if somebody's been doing something for a couple of decades and it hasn't worked, why would they continue to do it? That's basically the definition of insanity, to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. So we need to identify, hey, if you're doing something right now and it's not working, you need to understand that it's not working, and then understand you need to stop doing that and take an alternate route. When you guys are communicating with people, it's not about just following up, it's about doing some things in that marketing, whether it's a text, email, a phone call. You need to create excitement. And that's whether it's about the product, the service, the education, the ability to get to an endpoint, whatever it is, you need to package up some excitement. We talk about this. People fear money. You've got to bring some passion, some excitement to the table in all aspects of your business to get people, kind of feeding off your energy. And remember, education is the key to success on both sides of your business. I firmly believe that in our marketing, if we lead both clients and partners to that first educational meeting, I think that is the best possible way to funnel people into a system where they're going to get all the information they need, they're going to get some great education, and we're going to be able to, through that process, evaluate the potential partner or evaluate the potential client and get some feedback and see, from our side, if this makes a good fit. When we're in those conversations, remember, we talked about this so many times. It could be your 8th presentation of the day, but it's the first time that person has ever seen this. So you need to be dialed in. You need to be in a place where you're concentrating, giving them, your concentration, your efforts, to make sure that they come out of this feeling, hey, this was an awesome experience. I got value out of this. I'm so glad that I booked this appointment. Success is going to come from a lot of different ways. When we plant that tree for your business, it's going to come from a lot of different areas, but it all starts with your ability to go out and market and open conversations with potential partners and clients in a way that's going to streamline people into taking action steps, which we make very, very easy on the front side with education. I am not going to be satisfied until I've got a lot of people who are making a good amount of money and we've found success for them and they're excited and they look back on this as one of the best decisions they made. If we've only got a couple people really killing it, that's great for those people, but it's not good for the overall business model. One of the reasons I decided to do this was to bring my skill set and help raise up entrepreneurs in a way that gets them to 6- and 7-figure businesses and provides the kind of lifestyle that we call for the new rich, which is both money and time. And that really starts with, we're going to do a lot of things from our side, but from a new partner's standpoint, they've got to believe 100% in what they're doing. And in some small way, what we're doing is going to change the world. And it will. I mean, when you're talking about why people struggle, it's a lot of times, even like health and stress factors come from money. So what you guys are doing is important. And if a potential partner doesn't really grasp that, they're not the right partner. Whether we're talking about a client strategy and execution or a partner strategy and execution, what somebody desires or wants or envisions, that's the strategy. That's what we're trying to do. But most of the time, the execution lags far behind that. So the gap right here is costing us. The gap in execution is costing us money. And your partners need to understand that, and your clients need to understand that, because like we were talking about earlier, If you're talking to a potential client, you need to know, what have you been doing up to this point? How is that working out for you? So they can begin to understand and evaluate, hey, what I'm doing is not working. What they're doing sounds way more like it will get me to that endpoint that I'm desiring. I need to listen to these people. Building your business from a solid foundation is going to be by the numbers. And I can't stress this enough. If you're making emotional decisions about your business, that's not going to lead you to the kind of growth that you want to experience. And when somebody asks how you built it and there's no real game plan or data-driven decisions, there's not much to offer. If you guys, your partners, whoever you're talking to, if we're sitting down in the morning with a cup of coffee and we think, especially if we're full-timers, what do I do today? That's big problems for your business. One of the things that I try to do every day is reflect on the day and also prepare myself for the next day. That way, in the morning time, I've got things that I can immediately go into versus just kind of sitting around and trying to plan. We've got to get as many conversations started as possible. And whether we're marketing, it doesn't matter how we're marketing, the more marketing that we do, the more conversations we open, the more outcomes, happen. And those outcomes produce, potential partners, potential clients, revenue, income, business growth. So understand, if you're fishing with one pole versus fishing with a lot of poles, the opportunity to grow your business has to come from this mindset where you need a bunch of material out there where people are interacting with. We're going to start another 12-week year, probably close to the fall, but understand that I and several people in this group have done several 12-week years together. And if you really break it down, the 12-week year teaches us a few things. Number one, it teaches us that you have to have goals and you have to have a vision that propels you to want to go out and do the necessary action points or activity points that gets us to our goals. So we have to create that vision that propels us. And then we have to go on a 90-day madman cycle where we really understand the value of each day, the value of each hour, and the potential and the possibility to accomplish more in a quarter than most people do in a year. And the compounding effect of that over several quarters puts you way ahead of your competition. I've really found that if I sit behind a desk for multiple hours, that I struggle in terms of, what I'm doing, the quality of my work. So what I try to do is I try to go an hour at a time. And that hour, involves, max attention, max focus, max energy intensity, and max execution. So when you're taking a look at your day, break it down into hours. Measure on that basis. It's far easier to both improve the short and the long term when you're measuring on these intervals. Set continuous deadlines and goals. This creates intensity. Create a goal or a deadline within that hour and try to get it done. And then reward yourself more often, which creates excitement, which carries over to more of the day. So don't sit down for 5-6 hours and just become a lump. Go at it for an hour, back away, come back for another hour. And then we also need to understand, as we look at ourselves and as we have self-reflection, the 12-week year really helps us with this as well. It helps us understand what we need to do, what we should concentrate on doing, and also what's holding us back. And a lot of the times what we should not be doing during the day. And once you start to concentrate on what you should do, the rest of the stuff that's holding you back kind of disappear and dissipate. No matter what you're trying to do, you're trying to build a 7-figure business, your clients are trying to retire in the next 5 to 7 years. It takes a plan of action, but who says you can't? That's the fixed mindset that a lot of people have that we talk to in the marketplace. There's every bit of possibility out there to do whatever it is that somebody's trying to do if they're willing to make a plan of action and execute that plan of action. Success is our duty, our obligation, our responsibility. I love this quote because when we are looking at building a dynamic 6-7-figure business, it's not only about our personal needs, it's about giving back. It's about people who didn't have the opportunity that we did to build this type of a business. Charitable contribution should be part of your vision, part of your goal. And it's a big reason why I want to build businesses like this, because you only give away from a surplus. If you make 80 grand a year and you spend 80 grand a year, there's nothing leaving. If you're making 400 grand a year and you're spending 80 grand a year, there is surplus and you can do a lot of good with that money. You want to have the desire to dominate the market. And yes, we have part-time positions. There's a lot going on here, but the ultimate partner is somebody that really wants to come in, dominate the market, somebody who, understands, what they're going to do and what they need to do to get the best results. Activity and accountability, and then the refuse to give in or give up. That's a business plan that will help new partners instantly get plugged in to understand what they're trying to do. You got to have commitment. And guys, this is one of the things that separates the partners that are coming in versus the partners that are getting told no in our interview process, because I am not looking for interested parties. I'm looking for interested parties that are also committed to what we're trying to do. If you're just trying and not committing, there's no promise that you'll reach the end. And our hours from a managerial standpoint have to be invested in people that we think that we can help them get to their personal goals, which also helps us reach our organizational goals. Without commitment, not much is going to happen. So next week, guys, we're going to get into a multi-week series kind of that comes back around and teaches us one of our main outlets for growth in our business is to be able to unlock potential partners in a way that gets us in front of the right quality candidates with the right type of questions that gets us to an endpoint where we are bringing in quality. Remember, you can bring in a lot of people to a business and they, as well as you, can get absolutely no results. You can bring far fewer people in, but if they're of the right caliber, the right candidate, you guys can do amazing things together with our help, training, support, coaching, mentorship, but they have to fit into what we're trying to find. You're not trying to make something fit in to where it doesn't fit in. You're just trying to find the people that already fit into what we're trying to do. So we will see you guys next week. I appreciate the attendance. If you guys have anything you want to talk about now, go ahead. If not, we're always available on a one-on-one basis.